The observation deck of the Zenthara research vessel hummed with the quiet efficiency of advanced technology. Lisa pressed her palm against the transparent aluminum viewport, watching the purple-tinged jungle canopy of Kepler 442 be ripple in the wind 300 meters below. "Atmospheric composition stable," announced Vexthor, the expedition's Velkarian lead scientist. His 4 eyes blinked in sequence as he studied the holographic readouts. Oxygen-nitrogen ratio within human tolerance. Temperature 23 degrees Celsius. You may proceed with the surface expedition. Lisa turned to Alex, who was checking the seals on his environmental suit for the 3rd time. They'd been the only humans on this xenobiological survey mission for 8 months, surrounded by researchers from 4 different species, none of whom truly understood why Earth had insisted on sending representatives. "You don't have to wear that," Lisa said, gesturing at his suit. "The air's fine." Alex's brown eyes met hers with practiced skepticism. "Protocol says." Protocol was written by people who have never set foot on an uncharted world. She was already unzipping her own suit, revealing the lightweight exploration gear beneath. "Trust me." Vexthor's translator crackled with what might have been concern. "Dr. Chen, the indigenous fauna has not been fully catalogued. We've detected organisms with mass exceeding 200 kilograms. Predatory behavior patterns are exactly why we need unrestricted mobility," Lisa interrupted, though not unkindly. She'd learned that most species in the Galactic Consortium approached xenobiology with an almost religious reverence for safety protocols. Humans, apparently, had a different philosophy. 20 minutes later, Lisa and Alex stood in the alien jungle, the Zenthara a silver speck in the violet sky above. The air tasted of copper and something like eucalyptus. Beneath their boots, the ground was spongy with layers of decomposing vegetation that had never known Earth's particular cocktail of bacteria. "Specimen collection site is 2 kilometers northeast," Alex said, consulting his handheld scanner. "Beyond that ridge." They moved through the forest with careful efficiency. Lisa documented everything: the 6-petaled flowers that tracked their movement, the insectoid creatures with crystalline wings that refracted the orange sunlight into prismatic rainbows, the spiral-barked trees that seemed to breathe, their trunks expanding and contracting in slow rhythm. The attack came without warning. One moment, Alex was bending to collect a soil sample. The next, something massive exploded from the undergrowth, a blur of midnight blue scales and too many limbs. Lisa's combat training activated instantly, her body moving before conscious thought could catch up. "Alex down." He dropped flat. The creature sailed over him, a nightmare of evolution that had never known human eyes. It was roughly the size of a grizzly bear, but its morphology defied Earth categories. 6 legs ending in curved talons, a serpentine neck supporting a head that was all teeth and sensory organs. Muscles rippled beneath armored scales that looked harder than Kevlar. The creature landed, pivoted with horrifying speed, and focused on Lisa. Above on the Zenthara, alarms shrieked. Vexthor's 4 eyes widened in synchronized horror as he watched the biometric feed spike. 3 other researchers, a methane-breathing Thex, an insectoid Kachik, and a gelatinous Plorox, crowded around the observation screens. "Emergency retrieval," Vexthor commanded. "Activate the—" "Wait," the Kachik interrupted, her compound eyes reflecting the screen's glow. "The human female, she's not running." On the surface, Lisa had spread her stance, her weight balanced on the balls of her feet. The creature circled her, intelligent enough to recognize a threat, primordial enough to be hungry regardless. Its breathing sounded like steam escaping from a hydraulic press. "Lisa, get to the extraction point," Alex shouted from the ground, but she barely heard him. She was counting heartbeats, measuring distances, calculating the creature's center of mass, the articulation points of those 6 legs, the way its head moved independently of its body, A weakness in cervical vertebrae, perhaps. The predator lunged. Lisa moved laterally, not backward. The creature's jaws snapped shut on empty air where her torso had been a fraction of a second earlier. She grabbed one of its forelegs as it passed, using its own momentum against it. 200 kilograms of alien apex predator suddenly found its center of gravity shifted by a 68-kilogram human who understood leverage better than any species that had evolved in lower gravity. The creature stumbled. Lisa didn't let go. She pivoted, twisted, and drove her shoulder into the joint where the leg met the body. Something cracked, not bone exactly, but whatever this world's evolution had substituted for it. The predator screamed, a sound that sent flocks of flying creatures exploding from nearby trees. It thrashed, trying to shake her off, but Lisa had already moved. Her hand found the soft tissue beneath its jaw. Every predator had vulnerabilities near its mouth. You couldn't armor what needed to open. On the Zenthara, the alien researchers watched in paralyzed fascination. She's attacking it, the Plorox bubbled, its translation matrix struggling with the concept. Why isn't she fleeing? Humans don't flee, Vexthor whispered, his translator barely capturing the awe in his native language. The reports were true. Lisa's fingers dug into the creature's throat, finding the major blood vessels she knew had to be there. Convergent evolution demanded it. The predator reared back, lifting her off the ground. She wrapped her legs around its neck, holding on with the tenacity of a species that had hunted mammoths with pointed sticks. "The trachea," she muttered through gritted teeth. "Where's the damn trachea?" The creature slammed itself sideways into a tree, trying to crush her. Pain exploded through Lisa's ribs, but she'd cracked ribs before. She'd broken bones, torn ligaments, survived a training accident that had hospitalized her for 3 weeks. Pain was just data. Data could be processed later. Her thumb found the spot, a depression in the cartilage. She pressed hard. The predator's movements became frantic, then desperate. Its hind legs scraped grooves in the soil. Alex watched from his position on the ground, one hand hovering over his emergency beacon, knowing that by the time help arrived it would be far too late to matter. Lisa held on. Her muscles screamed. Her lungs burned from exertion in an atmosphere still slightly too thin, too oxygen-poor compared to Earth. She held on anyway. The creature's movement slowed, weakened. Its legs buckled. Together, human and alien predator collapsed to the forest floor in a tangle of limbs. For a long moment, nothing moved except Lisa's heaving chest. Then she pushed herself up, extracting her limbs from the motionless predator. She checked her ribs with practiced efficiency, cracked, not broken, acceptable. "You okay?" she called to Alex. He stared at her, his face pale beneath his dark skin. "Am I okay? Lisa, you just killed that thing with your bare hands." "Not quite bare," she said, examining her bloody knuckles. "I'm wearing gloves." On the Zenthara, the silence in the observation deck was absolute. Finally, the Kate chick spoke, her voice reverent. "The Galactic Combat Index rates that organism at threat level 7. It would require a squad of 4 Valkyrian security officers with plasma weaponry to subdue." "Earth's gravity is 1.3 times standard," Vexthor said slowly, his mind trying to process what his eyes had witnessed. "Their atmospheric pressure at sea level is higher. They evolved as endurance predators. But still." "It's not just physical," the Plorox interjected. "Did you see her decision matrix? She didn't hesitate, didn't calculate probabilities, she just acted." Vexthor accessed his datapad with trembling manipulator appendages, pulling up humanity's consortium application files. He'd read them before, but now certain passages demanded rereading. Humans are the only species to have hunted their planet's apex predators to extinction using primitive weapons. They are the only species to have domesticated other predators as companions. They are the only species classified as both prey and predator in their own evolutionary history. Below, Lisa was helping Alex to his feet, already moving toward the specimen collection site as if she hadn't just fought for her life. "Notify the council," Vexter said quietly. "Tell them the human integration program needs revision." "What kind of revision?" the K-chick asked. Vexter watched Lisa pause to document the dead predator with her scanner, her movements calm and methodical. "The kind where we stop treating them like fragile newcomers," he said, "and start recognizing what they actually are." "Which is?" The Valkyrian's 4 eyes fixed on the screen, watching Lisa move through the alien jungle with the confidence of a species that had clawed its way to the top of its food chain through sheer, bloody-minded persistence. "Survivors," Vexter said, "born and bred.